We'll start this video by going straight into the torpedo net shelves, and there's quite a number of parts with the shelves and the supports, and they're from the nickel sheet. Now I've already cut out all the parts ready to go. Just lessons learned is these supports were very fine legs in them, and I was initially cutting the tab back from the part, but then trying to go back in and clean them up, being so fine, was taking a bit of time. So from part 68 or part 69 onwards, I found I could go straight in with one of these little chisels made and go hard up to the part and then press through. It was close enough that I don't need to bother cleaning them up. And there's a few individual specific sizes. The torpedo net shelves, again from the nickel or stainless sheet, they're fairly fine, but they're not too bad to work with. And I've cut them out and placed them here because we have to be careful because there's a lot of similar shapes, but they're slightly different. So on the starboard side, starting from the bow, parts 54 through to 5961 is what you need for that. And then similarly for the port side, we start at 62 through to 67. Just have to be careful we don't mix them up. So we'll get on to attaching all these supports onto the shelves. Right, let's have a look at fixing on the supports. So hopefully you can see on the underside there's these little dimples at each location. And then hopefully you can see that there's a slight little raised bit on each end, and that's where we fix into the dimples. So we need to make sure that firstly you've got the right support for the right shelf, and we need to make sure that we get it the right way around. So because there's a slight curve, that's the back side of this one. So what I do, okay, so I grip the support across the two bars, and then using the applicator, I'll just touch the front and back, and then line up with the dimples. Now this back edge needs to be flush, and then we need to turn it around and make sure we're vertical as well. It's a wee bit off. I'll come back in and redo this one. It's just, I'm too far away because of the camera to get in there, because I think I've missed that dimple. But you get the idea. Now you could come back in and use an applicator. I've made another one which is a lot smaller. You could refresh it and then just come in and touch front and back. There's no point doing along the side because it doesn't really connect there. Okay, so you can see it doesn't line up with the bars on the shelf. This needs to come across. But like I say, I'll redo this purely because I can't get close enough because of the camera. But here's one I did as a bit of a practice, so hopefully it's not too bad. You can tell looking through the top if they're in line because they're parallel with the grill on the shelf. And then, like I say, just check instructions for the size and shape, or for the correct number. And like as you can see, it's got some kind of plate on one end, but just a normal support on the other. So just be mindful. So I'll go off and do all 13 shelves, okay? And then we'll come back for installing them. Okay, so that's all the torpedo net shelves done. I've got the port ones here, and then we've got the starboard as well. They weren't too bad actually. Once you got into a bit of a rhythm, it went pretty quickly. We still have these single brackets, single supports to put on, but I'll put them on once we fix the shelves to the hull. And there was also a number of spares. Surprisingly for this, number 72, numerous ones. I actually made up a bit of a sheet here with all the support numbers, and then counted what we had in the plans against what I cut out from the fret. And as you can see, you get a lot of 72s, but it's only mentioned 6 times in the plans. And then 78s, the plans say you need 74, but only provide 68. I use the 72s. I put them side by side, I could see no difference. So if you come across that yourself, the 72s and 78s are, from what I can tell, the same. So that's these all done now. So let's fit them to the hull. Okay, so I'll start with this section here because this will set the subsequent ones. You can see there's a slight bend dip down there. And so remember on the port side, 62 back to 67, so we'll just work in order. I'm just going to tip over, that's okay. See this, it's quite a large one, but only has a single leg, but there's another leg goes on, which we'll need to do afterwards. And then there's another two continuing on from that. What I might do is, I'll do it off camera because I'm struggling to get past, is I'll change the angle slightly, and what I'll do is I'll just put some tape and work my way across and get them all in position like that. Okay, change of plan. So the tape wasn't really working for me, so what I've done is I've placed it in position as close as I can, and then I've just tacked it in place using micro crystal clear. So wherever you see the little yellow masking tape squares, that's just where I've put a little blob of crystal clear. So starting on the curve, which is pretty much set, and then worked along, moving it up or down. These little bits of tape on the legs, or these two, sorry, they were just to hold it in position until I applied the crystal clear. So this last bit I'll just set. It was a bit too low initially. So just come in, I want to keep it off the grill and just keep it on the edges. So that's enough to hold that now, so I'll let that go off. And then I've started doing the same on this side, and then I'll fill in between, so you've got good reference points on the casemates. So then a straight line from that one across to the other one will position the other ones. And then this one here, so again you can see I've already tacked this one in place with the 3 points. In this end here is pretty much set now, so I'll just lock that in position, and I'll just put a marker here because the crystal clear dries crystal clear. I've just marked them, so I'll come back in and remove them. So I'll attach the rest of them, or tack them in place if you like. So that's a torpedo net shelf, more or less tacked into position. I'll fix it. So as you can see, I've included some measured masking tape to get the heights down. I haven't done the last two sections here because you've got a single section on this part, and then this last one here. What I'll do is I'll remove this one. I'll trim 1 mil from the end to allow this one to slide up, because one of the supports, which is a solid support, it's not just a brace, it's clashing with that porthole, so it won't affect here or anything. So we're now in a position to start gluing. Another reason to remove this curved section is this one here is pretty looking good. This seems to be a bit low, so I want to take it off and see if I can just put a wee bit of a bend into it to take it up to the correct level with this one. Okay, so it's time to now start gluing down the supports. So with the applicator and some medium, we'll just work our way along. And these ones here we need to push down a wee bit. Okay, so that's the first one's done. It's not the neatest application of glue I've done. Okay, I'll work my way along, hopefully, as I get a bit of a rhythm going, maybe a bit neater. So that's the first sections with the supports all glued up to this second casement. You can see the shiny CA. It'll be interesting to see how good or bad it looks once we get some primer on it. So now that it's all glued in position, I want to remove the crystal clear we used just to tack it on. So for that we'll use some isopropyl alcohol. So if you remember, we marked the positions of it. I don't know if you can see it there. What we'll do is we'll just come in with a brush and we'll just keep working it until it goes. I'll remove this tape first. So I'm not sure if you can see the shiny spot there, but that's the isopropyl. And just keep coming in with IPA. Just keep working it. And it'll slowly peel off. This end bit hasn't been glued yet, because once I remove all the IPA, all the crystal clear, we'll come in from underneath and tack it with thin CA, just in various spots. I'll just keep working away. And the IPA won't affect the super glue or the plastic. So okay, so you get the idea. All the other sections on the other side as well, on the end of this one, it's going to be the same process. Roughly put it in position, we'll tack it with some crystal clear, and then we'll come in and glue the support legs. Once I get all the IPA off, then we'll put some CA on the underside of the shelf itself, and then that'll be done. So I'll just work away here, and then we'll come back when it's time to tack the undersides. Okay, so it's almost gone. And that's it. Okay, that's the shelves installed on both sides, and all the supports are all glued with CA. There's one more step that we want to do before I'm calling these finished. I want to show you a couple of lessons learned. So hopefully you can make out. I had a bit of trouble gluing this support here. So I actually used Zap CA Kicker, and it seems to have reacted with the plastic. It feels a bit rough now. So I'll have a look at cleaning that one up before I prime it. I'll have a look at the other side. And then on the port side, same deal. It's all fixed in place and support CA'd. Okay, so the lesson learned here is, and hopefully you can see it, but if you splash IPA onto the paint, don't wipe it. Just let it evaporate. So I'll have to come in and see if I can touch that up. So the last step is just to apply some glue at various points along the back side. As you can see, the shelf's held away from the side of the hull, which I think is correct, but I'll just secure it in a few places, such as this end here, which I haven't secured yet. I was going to use CA, but based on my inconsistent application on the supports, some of them are a bit heavy, and I'm not sure how it's going to show up when it's primed. I think it's going to look a bit overdone. So what I'll do is, I'm quite impressed with the crystal clear. This is the first time I used it on, and surprising has such a good grip, even in little applications. So what I'll do is, in various locations, I'll just apply it with this 000 brush. I think this will work really well because it's quite flexible when it dries. It will give the shelves a bit of shock resistance. CA's got very weak shear strength, so it's quite easy to snap them off. So using the brush, we'll just get a tiny dot. And then we'll just do that at a few locations along the side of the hull. And with it being on the underside, hopefully it won't be too obvious. Okay, so I'll do that and then we'll move on to the next part. So with the net shelves installed, the next thing I want to put on is these brackets. So these hold the net booms against the hull when they're not deployed. Now they're just a simple folding part. I did solder these together, but for some reason I lost the footage. But I couldn't really install these because I needed to have the shelves in place to get the position of the booms. So for the booms themselves, part 23, I've got 16 of these, but I'll just do 8 because I'll use them for both sides. So as you can see, or hopefully you can see, there's a hole in the end, and we'll have a look at that next. And then there's a number of different diameters here, and there's 3 or 4 parts that go in the end. For this exercise, I don't need to worry about that end. I just need to get the hook in on this side. So the hooks are these, again, stainless or nickel full edge parts. And again, as you can see, they just fold in half. I did one, needs cleaned up. But that was just folded in half and glued with CA. Okay, so that's the hooks installed in 8 of the booms, which is enough to get us for one side. Like I said, I haven't installed any of the hardware on this end because we don't actually need it. Okay, let's install the booms. And we'll just hook them into the eyes. Okay, so they're going to go. I'll put them all in anyway, and then we'll have a look, see how we're going to do it. So that's all the booms hooked up into their mounting points. Now, it'd be good to get them all in the same angle, but it's not going to be possible. So if we have a look at the individual ones, this one will be fine. Bearing in mind, there's still things to go on the end, so that's probably a decent position there. The next one will be fine. It goes into over the top of the shelf. This one is going to be problematic because if it goes over the shelf here, it's actually hitting that support. This one looks like it's going to be fine. It's sitting over the shelf. There's plenty of space for the supports. Same with this one. And this one will probably get away with it as well. This one we won't because I can't get it close because of that support there. And I think that's why we have the supports. It's just a narrower plate to allow the boom to go up to it. Whereas this one's got the normal support, which is holding it away. So it'll have to come down. We'll probably get it a bit more like that. And then this last one again, it's got the normal brace, which means it's going to be a slight angle. So as they are now, I'm guessing it's not too bad. This one's no, it's come off. This one's a bit lying at a shallower angle, which I don't know, I might just do it anyway. What I also did was, from what I can tell from the plans, the supports are about 1/6 of the way up, or just over half. So I've just put black marks, and that will be the position of the supports. So unfortunately, I don't think they're all going to go in the same angle. We'll just have to do it as a best fit case. Okay, so I'll put little strips of tape just over the hook, just to secure it in place. So with this bracket, we can almost come in. And that's almost the position there. So I'll push up just a wee bit, because remembering there is bits to go on here, so we need to lift it off that shelf a wee bit. And then we can come in, same idea for this one. Again, we can lift it up. So these ones look quite good. This one here is going to be the issue. So it's actually going to have to come down into that area. So this one here, yeah, so I can't actually get it far enough towards the hull because it's hitting on this support. But if I come in, oops, kind of lift it as high, so that's not too bad. The weight is holding them on anyway. Can go up a wee bit more, which is a pity because this one's lying quite flat compared to the others. It can go up a wee bit more, but it's not as good as a position as these ones. And again, this one here, I might be able to get it over, and I can, yep. So that one's going to be fairly good. Just this one here, it's going to look strange. This one here shouldn't be too bad. So what I'll do, if I go back to this first one here, and I'll just put bits of tape where I'm going to fix the brackets. So both from a height and an angle. Because I want the supports to be angled 90 degrees to the boom, not 90 degrees to the hull. Okay, so that's not too bad. I just need to come up a wee bit on the tape. Okay, so hopefully you get an idea of what I'm trying to attempt. So I'll do these ones. In fact, I'll do the majority of them, and I'll see what I can do here, because that one's going to be really shallow compared to them, so, and possibly this one down here as well. I'll do the ones I think will be okay, and then I'll have a think on what I'm going to do for the others. To glue the supports into the locations, I'm going to use crystal clear. I think it will be enough to hold it, and it also gives me the opportunity to easily remove it if I find it's not right. So I've just run a bead down the back edge. I'll just come in with a damp brush and just tidy up any overflow. And then I can remove the tape. Okay, so I'll just stop messing with it and let it go off. And then the next one, again, we'll just put a little bead if we can. So that's all the supports in position, and now I've just placed the booms in temporarily. So it's looking quite good. These rear two appear to be shallower, which is apparently okay. And then these three are at the same angle. This one here is upsetting it a wee bit. And then the front two is a shallower angle, which again is okay. This is an odd one out. And again, it's because of clash of that support. You can see overall. Don't know, maybe it just catches my eye because I'm aware of it. I might break that support out and replace it with one of the solid plates, which is a lot smaller. And I would allow this to go up. But I can't hook it over the top because of that support. So I might just leave it, see how we go. So I've now installed the net booms on the starboard side, and these are looking far more consistent with regards to angles. So the four mid ones are all more or less the same. So that kind of made a decision for me now. What I'll do is I'll display the model with the starboard booms stored, and then on the port side I'll have the nets deployed, because my initial feelings was to do it the opposite way around. So the last thing I want to do for this video is install all the step irons along this hull sides, and for that I'm going to use the crystal clear again, just to give me a bit of working time, and if needed I could always redo them. I should have said, these are the Pontos steps. So we'll have a look at the bow ones next. And that's the starboard bow steps done as well. So that's all the Pontos ones done, which is the bow and stern on both sides. So they're done. The steps along the hull sides, Pontos don't provide them. I believe the hull side ones are solid like old sailing ships, and similar to how the kit was moulded. So I think that's the reason they never provided them. However, I've already cut them off and drilled the holes because I'm going to use the MK model set ones. So they're all cut out. but the process of installation is still the same. What I'll do is I'll put in these ones first where the boom crosses, and I might just sink them further in than the others. On the port side, I won't need to worry because I'll have the torpedo nets deployed, so I'll just put them all in to the same depth. On the starboard side, as we discussed earlier, the booms sit a lot nicer here, so I'll just have to see if they affect any of the steps. I'm going to stop this video at this point. There's still lots more detail to go on, but I think I've got the main parts on to allow me to start priming and painting. And to be honest, I'm getting a bit fed up doing all this little fine detail, and I want to get some paint on it. So that'll be the last of the side details for the time being, and we'll get on with the paint in the next episode. Okay, so thanks for watching.